It's been a really interesting start to the championship here with Jake Sylvia and Angel Ortega. It was a marathon last time out, but here at Thunder Alley, it might be something a little bit simpler in terms of today's action. It's 75 laps all green here with the Misfit Touring Series. It's round 3, and we are here at Rockingham Speedway. Welcome, everybody, to the action and the conversation. I'm Jake Sperry. DJ Clark, as per usual, is alongside here today with DJ Lyon up in the directors and producers chair. But what a track we bring ourselves to. We're going to open things out compared to where we were last time out, DJ. But one thing is for certain, it's a lot different today than the 100 at Hickory.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's not just those lap counts there, Jake. Just over a mile long is Rockingham, and we talked a little bit about the high banks of Hickory, but let me tell you, here today at The Rock, we are going to see speeds north of about 150 miles an hour. This is going to be a power circuit here in North Carolina. Drivers are going to have to be very, very careful, though, coming off of the corners, as things could get a little bit loosey-goosey. But I'm anticipating a wildly different race to what we saw last time out.
Right on the outskirts then of North US Highway number 1, Rockingham, North Carolina. The little rock on the bottom, the big rock up on the top, and a circuit which is befitting of all of the work that is done for it here. This is what they have to fight against here today. So 10-lap heats, which will put each other into position for the 70-lap feature, which will feature 26 cars with 25 here today. No need for a last chance race to bring things into perspective. But DJ, there's 3 stories you got to talk about every time you come out here and race.
Yeah, most certainly. Number 1, an abrasive and bumpy track surface here at Rockingham. That means, remember, they do not have a legal tire change over the course of the race, so you're going to have to watch over those 4 sets of tires. The other thing here is passing is going to be a little bit difficult because of the high speeds, because of the propensity for this to run a relatively low-line circuit. So track position will be key, and because of the high speeds, consider this almost like a super speedway of short track racing. And when we talk about super speedways, we talk about the big one, and the way to get yourself to the front is avoid those big hits.
And those hits are going to be crucial over the course of the race. And we talk about it as 70 green, which means that if they do have a wreck, they do have that ability to run back through the laps and still have that same down and distance effectively to bring themselves into proceedings, which they have to go and navigate. This, though, is an absolutely beautiful car in terms of what brings the openings into racing. It's 500 plus brake horsepower with that naturally aspirated V8 engine, 4 gears, about 1,400 kilos, 3,100 pounds. So you're pulling about 270 brake horsepower per ton in a car which absolutely is still going to hit anywhere upwards of what I would say is 150, 160 miles an hour, thereabouts in that region.
Yeah, very much so. And crucially here, obviously, a rear-wheel drive car in the classic model of American stock car racing. And that means things are going to get a little bit slippery around here. I don't think we're going to see any bump drafting necessarily, but I definitely think we're going to see those fenders getting used a little bit here today. Watch for a little bit of a bump and run. Watch for some elbow banging to get out, particularly in about the last 20 laps of that feature.
Well, this is going to be a race where it's going to be about movement, but drivers have put their qualifying efforts into perspective here today, and that's going to mean that we are going to get ourselves into some heat action. 10 laps on the heats, and 7 drivers find themselves in the first heat overall, so we'll have the opportunity to run down and see who is where in terms of how they've brought themselves through. There's the iRacing pace truck in all of its glory then out there at the front. But the key here is it's Keegan Bush who has that hold, a 24.992. We'll have Bradley Stefan alongside for company on row 1. Evan Leahy and Ryan Walling will be on row number 2, which will lead to Jared Schell and Terry Wangsness in what is 6th position. The final driver is Michael Weissman, who struggled to get a lap in qualifying, so it will be a scramble to see whether he'll go, and it looks like the answer to that is going to be no. They're going to have 5 going here in this first heat of 10, DJ.
Yeah, the other driver not to make it out there, going to be Jared Schell. Looks like that's going to be a pit lane start for the number 34. And the way this heat race is going to work is that the top 2 cars will automatically advance on into that A main feature race. Everybody else will be put back in the LCQ. Now, to be clear here, it's not a last chance qualifier necessarily. Think of it as a last chance orderer. The way that's going to go here today is that 15-lap race will be deciding where the drivers will finish and where they will start the feature race in the back half of the field.
And it's crucial as well because Jared Schell was immediately up on the radio, DJ, just before the start and was going, I've missed my start, wakey, wakey.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very tough for him. I can almost guarantee, with no cautions being thrown here in these heat races, that we are probably going to see him in that LCQ.
Yeah, no guarantees then that he's going to get what he wants. Pace truck makes the hard turn over to the left. It is Pace in control right now. And we get ourselves then off and green and underway for racing action. 10 laps to decide where they are. The battle very much all about the early stages as Bradley Stefan round the outside then at Keegan Bush gets a fantastic launch and moves to the front to command these early stages.
Yeah, a little bit of a sleepy restart, or start rather, there from Keegan Bush. Just looked like he wasn't necessarily on the throttle when he wanted to be. That allowed for Bradley to be able to get that jump. He's still going to be in the transfer position here in second place, but he's going to have to watch out from behind. Evan Leahy looked like he was closing on in, maybe trying some alternate lines behind him as we take a look out the back of the car right now. But now here comes a run for Bush. He's got a good line off of 2.
Stefan's a bit loose out there today, and that was seen as he goes through. Big launch up for the inside at 3 and 4. Not going to quite manage it just yet to get it secure, but there's going to be a drag race here over to the line here as they now start their 3rd lap of the race. Up the track, trying to migrate, pinch a little bit of road away, gives the angle off of the exit, and another little slide there from Stefan opens the door for Leahy to the inside to pick a pocket or 2.
Yeah, it doesn't need any second asking. There does Evan Leahy. Nice move, nice recognition. And as you said, Stefan just looking very, very squirrely coming off of turn 2. Going to have to try to lock that down, but maybe a little bit of peek into the inside, down into 1. That's not going to play itself out, but a little bit of looseness there from Leahy. This could open up the door for the number 89.
And that's Jared Schell there off the road on the left-hand side of the circuit. So that puts him in a spot of bother if he was not going to be at the back of the field. Well, he's even further. Now, there's the turn. Bradley Stefan gets hooked. And also getting caught up in that is Terry Wangsness. And it does bring a caution out.
Yeah, and the change here from this is going to be autumn. This is going to be thrown cautions by the racing series here at this point. Let's take a look at this big contact into the wall a little bit farther back down in the pack. That's the number 34 there of Schell. Not entirely sure what happened to him, but we definitely had that big contact coming through 3 and 4.
So 6 drivers here who are starting, 3 of which are right now down in the pit lane, which is not quite the way they wanted this race to go. Of course, they all will line up behind that pace truck, but it's going to be a long road to get back from those who have taken a tow and those with the heavy damage that has been accrued. One thing to note about this series compared to other series out there, it's not going to be the case here, DJ, that they're going to be able to get out and away again. There are no fast repairs.
No, there are not. So once again, that is going to throw them farther back down in the field. The other thing to keep in mind here, if you are deemed at fault for an incident, you will get an EOL penalty. But Jake, let's take a look at this replay.
Look, coming up the circuit, it's a little bit of 2 into 1 there. Trying to get that pivot is Leahy off of the exit. And the issue that he's got is he's trying to pinch down, and there's not really much place you can go if you're Stefan in that situation. That is really tough there in terms of how they go through. The different lines being taken by the higher banking. And I would have to say in that scenario, you've got to be a little bit more aware about how much room you've got when you're coming back down the circuit to attack off of the final corner.
Yeah, spatial awareness is going to be very key here, especially with the high speeds that we are traveling. And the race organizers, by the way, have found Keegan Leahy at fault for that collision, giving him that previously mentioned end-of-the-line penalty. So he'll start off in 3rd place here at this point. Wagsness still down into pit lane. Looks like he's going to be able to get himself back out, and they'll bring themselves back around here. But lights are still on the iRacing pace truck, so that means we'll have at least one more lap under yellow flag conditions. Is there, Wagsness is going to be able to join up with an albeit very damaged number 17.
Well, the issue for Wagsness was staying on the lead lap. That was always going to be the trouble there, because it wasn't necessarily the case that the damage was the issue in terms of getting on the lead lap. The issue for Terry Wagsness when it came to the caution was the Austin Powers style million-point turn that he had to do, and I find it very difficult for the way that he's racing, seeing as he's racing sideways.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult there for him. You know, everybody's got their preferred driving situation, and clearly working there for Terry. But nevertheless, we'll have to see how he performs. Doing a little bit of weaving here at this point. You can see kind of holding back from the rest of the field. I think Terry knows that he is not going to be in position to be able to attack here at this point. Just wants to finish out this race in fourth.
Well, they're getting the call. It's going to be back to green here, and now it is once again pace under control. This time it's a late launch there from Busch, and they get themselves going, and green and off and away. Wagsness gets the black flag penalty there, I believe, for overtaking before the green, so that's going to be a trip down the lane there. So if that wasn't going to be enough with the damage, it's now going to be an iRacing penalty to serve on top of that. Keegan Busch, who backed up the field perfectly, has managed to pull out a second over Evan Leahy now in second.
Yeah, and then both of these drivers here at this point, they're going to be in coast mode. We've got 2 laps to go here in Heat 1. They know they don't need to push. They know they're in comfortable conditions. It's all about just managing the car and bringing it home at this point.
This is what you would feel for a couple of these drivers would be a shakedown session like you'd see in a rally. It's very much a case of they're getting an understanding of this circuit. A hectic and chaotic start must be said, but they are getting an understanding of what they're dealing with here today. Track temperatures out there, 32 degrees, and they're only going to cool as the evening goes on. In sim time about to hit 5 o'clock soon as the white flag finds itself out at this moment in time for Keegan Busch, who will know that with 3 and 4 just to traverse, it's a nice, easy, laid-back afternoon start for number 27, who will come to the line and take the first heat.
Yeah, good run there for Keegan Busch. Qualified on pole, had that little bit of a scruffy start to get things going, but able to recover when they needed to. That'll be an automatic advancement there for Keegan, as well as for Evan Leahy in second place.
Yep, so great work between them, and that as good as it can possibly be. It is a very fast turnaround, which means that Heat 2 immediately finds itself into position. So now everyone will get themselves lined up for here. Kyle Adams will put himself then on the front with Kendall Becker alongside for company. Kenny Troughton will start from third with Travis Wilhite in fourth place. And then you've got the winner from last time out, Angel Ortega, will have work to do from fifth with Matthew Moniak in sixth, and Austin Demore from the back of the field with a non-qualification will now have to try and shimmy away through this field and jump on forward. Second heat's going to be interesting and a unique way there to warm the tires up in the early stages. That is going to be very key. How quickly can you get the tires into the range?
Yeah, that's going to be very, very crucial here. As you said, about 30 degrees Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit out on the track right now. So you've got to be doing that little bit of weaving. But my big storyline here in this race, it's the drivers that are lining up third and fifth on the grid. That is Kenny Troughton and Angel Ortega. Both of them looked very, very competitive, as indeed Angel took the victory last time out. There they go. And so now they're going to be looking to move their way forward. Again, a surprise to see them this far down in the order. But watch out for feature race time. They could be ones to watch out for.
Yeah, and that feature race, of course, looms on the horizon. These drivers are all just keeping an eye out on everybody else, wanting that very easy advance ticket that runs straight into the finals without having to worry too much about an extra 15 laps in the back pocket. But other drivers might see it as an extra opportunity, an extra 15 laps to try and get an understanding of the conditions to be right in place. Kyle Adams, with control of the field, is now going to set and sit this one off ready. Green flag flag is in the air, and we are underway for racing another 10 laps here. Heat 2 brings itself into play. Again, the outside working the treat, and the Oracle works for Kendall Becker straight to the front as it's 2x2, 3rd through 6th.
Little bit of a run there on the outside for that teal and orange machine of Travis Wilhite here at this point, trying to make a move on Kyle Adams coming down through the corner. Same can be said there for Matthew Moniak, but it looks like here at this point, the number 10 of Angel Ortega trying to make up positions as best as possible, but not exactly the best run here.
No, not the easiest here at the moment. With only 10 laps, you've got to work for it. Up into the wall, and saving it is Matthew Moniak there, the number 3, finding it all shades of sideways and able to bring it out. We were talking about elbows. Well, Angel Ortega was the first one to bring him out.
Yeah, certainly was. Angel, I think, probably a little bit frustrated with that qualifying performance. Going to try to get himself right again and get back into the order as quickly as possible. He's got to close down on Kenny Troughton before he can even think about moving into those transfer positions.
Yeah, Travis Wilhite there in 3rd, just in front of that, and Ortega knows how crucial it is to get that form going early. Some drivers have certain tracks that do not suit them, and this longer form style, where you're not having to be so aggressive and so technical, might not be in the Ortega playbook. That might be the one thing that was really hurting. Look at that different line being taken, a more shallow line into the opening corner, trying to deal with some of the turbulences of the air.
Yeah, trying to deal with that and really diamonding off the corner, letting it ride up mid-corner and then poking back down again. It's an interesting strategy there for him, and we'll have to see if it's playing. But I'll tell you what's going to help him out. That's the battle between Wilhite and Troughton right up in front of him.
And Troughton really muscling away down to the bottom of the circuit. Little bit of a hip check. Slide comes in from Wilhite, able to hold it together, but it's going to have no run off the exit. Almost grabs the wall there on the traverse through Thunder Alley, and in through 3 and 4. It looks like Ortega will be down low to the inside again, a little bit loose then from Wilhite, and there goes another move, but trying to get a run off the exit, almost grabs the corner.
Almost grabbed the corner there, the right rear quarter panel. Big run to the outside here, though, for Wilhite, trying to be able to carry that momentum around the outside. That's not going to play itself out. He's going to lose the position to Angel Ortega, who slides in front of him, contact in behind, and that's Wilhite around in the 3 of Moniak into the wall.
Moniak was approaching as quick as a whistle, but just like that, found himself wrong place, wrong time. Both drivers in trouble at the back, but we stay green. On at the front of the field now as Kyle Adams has found himself back to Kendall Becker at the front. Sliding there from Becker, trying to get everything out of the circuit. This is now going to bring that look around the outside once again. Kenny Troughton is looking for an opportunity here to really move on up, and that is second, only for the moment.
Only for the moment, and as I said, a driver to keep an eye on is the driver in front right here. That is Kenny Troughton as we ride on board with Kendall Becker. Troughton up 1 positions up into that automatic transfer spot of P2.
It's all about these 3 drivers fighting for 2 places at this moment in time. The 20 of Becker, who got the launch off the start, jumped up to the front, has lost 2 places quickly. Moniak down in the pits then. No surprises with the damage, but with 2 to go here, DJ, it is now a case of Adams trying to build a margin. Quarter second given at this point.
Yeah, but Adams got a little bit squirrely coming off of turn 2. He touched that yellow line, moved that number 24 down onto the apron. That's not what he wants to do here at this point. That gives Troughton a little bit of an opportunity.
That's not a little bit of an opportunity. That's a lot of an opportunity. Grabbing the apron out of 4. Here goes Kenny to the inside, but Kyle Adams running the high side, trying to get himself back into play, right up against the wall, trying to pinch down, steal a little bit of air. Through 3 and 4, they start to push. Ortega's trying to get in the mix as well in the back too, but it looks like they're going to run out of time. Kenny Troughton down low, picking it perfectly. He'll go through with Kyle Adams.
That was a brilliant race there from Kenny Troughton to be able to put himself into that top transfer spot. Really brilliant stuff, and I think he is going to be one to watch out for in this feature race, automatically advancing in. But before we get to that feature, well, we're going to skip the consi. Everybody's ready to go. Ignore what I said. It's 70 laps. Let's turn it up.
It's 70 absolutely fantastic laps that we are going to be putting ourselves into. You can't ask for more. You cannot ask for less. You have got everybody now sat ready and waiting and looking for those opportunities now to push forward. One of the keys, though, here is that the top 12 drivers have not put everything that they want together, but it is as dark can be at this moment in time. In-sim time is 25 to 10 in the evening. Did they forget that there's no lights?
I think that could be the potential situation here. Indeed, we're actually getting a message from race control, Jake, that's exactly what happened here. Rockingham, obviously an older style circuit, only used to running day races here at this point. No overhead lighting.
No overhead lighting, which will mean surely there will be a re-rack, so to speak, here, DJ. They should, in terms of the way this goes, take the gridding here that they've got here, the top 12, set that as its manual grid, and then put up a brand new server, essentially, to put themselves back into racing action. So I think that's going to be what the next port of call is going to be. We're going to step aside for just one moment here with Podium Esports. We'll be back with race coverage in just a few moments. Normally the phrase is the lights are on but nobody's home. Well, the lights were off and everyone stayed, and that was the issue that we've had. We've got some bright sunshine ready to bring ourselves into play, and that is going to mean that we are in for an absolute treat that goes through 70 green laps here around Rockingham. This is going to be where these drivers go through and get themselves into position. Now, something like this, DJ, happening has two effects on different styles of driver. Some drivers will absolutely love this, gives them more time to compose themselves ready for this race. For other drivers, it's frantic mode.
Yeah, it's very much frantic mode. We've got to remember here, especially at short tracks, even like a mile-long circuit like Rockingham, rhythm is so much a crucial component to being able to run around here. And for a lot of these drivers, they were going to be used to that rhythm. They were going to have everything kind of played together, feeling that vibe, feeling themselves out forward. And now they're going to find themselves in a position where that rhythm's been disrupted, Jake. And I think for a lot of these drivers, they're going to find a situation here where they've got to kind of re-rack, reset, and just hope they can get themselves back into that same place that they were when they thought the green was going to go.
Well, one thing as well is that they are not in qualifying order as it stands. They are going to use the formation lap purposes to get themselves into that gridding position, which should have Tyler Muller up on the pole with Deegan Smith alongside for company. It will then follow Matt Urban and Jackson Van Pelt. John Gifford should be in 5th position with the championship leader Jake Sylvia in 6th place, with Chris Story and Sean Urich in 7th and 8th. It'll be Timmy Spatz, then Easton Reidner, with Corey Vaughan and Ryan Smith, the 12 who did not have to go through the heats. And then by heat order, Keegan Bush, Kenny Troughton, Evan Leahy, Kyle Adams, Ryan Walling, Kendall Becker, Terry Wangsness, Angel Ortega, Bradley Stefan, Travis Wilhite, Jared Shell, Matthew Moniak, and then Michael Weissman and Austin Damore, who did not get launches off in terms of their races, will have the opportunity here in this to jump forward and get themselves the opportunity to go with that. The full 2 minutes then using that to go through, and everyone looking to pivot down into position. The nicest way to say it, DJ, is this could take a minute. But what is also very important to say in terms of how they're going about this is that they want this absolutely right. They want no driver to have an unfair advantage compared to all of the others.
Yeah, and that really just shows the commitment to the product here that Misfit is putting on at this point. They want to make sure everything's right. It is going to take us a minute here to get everything up to green. As there we take a look, I've got to say, we're a little bit past Halloween, but Easton Ryder absolutely rocking the bear outfit here tonight, and I always love to see a good costume on camera.
But DJ, with what's going on right now and everyone having to sit and get themselves ready, would you say he's having a teddy bear's picnic?
I certainly would. I think that's exactly what he's having here at this point.
Well, it's all about get yourself ready. Everybody looking to line themselves up and get themselves settled behind the iRacing pace truck here to get themselves all sorted and situated. Now, they are going to have to be a little bit quick here about this and the way they go about it, because they are going to very quickly come up across with that pace truck, which is going to have to find itself to a stalling speed at some point, with not everybody in a position to get themselves all lined up. This is going to take a minute, so it's going to take about, I would say, 2 truck lengths. And what they have done as well is they've changed the caution length to 10 laps to green.
Yeah, it's been 10 laps to green here, and crucially to keep in mind, this is not going to take away from our race. Now, normally caution laps would count. We would be in a position where they would be ticking off the laps as they go, but because this is all under green flag conditions, we will not see those laps fire off. So everything will be fine as they get themselves around here. You can see there the field kind of coming up on the last part of the cars that have not yet been released as they sort this order out. That should be done here in just a few moments' time as everything finally gets itself sorted.
Now, one of the issues that they might have here is that they might raise their engine temperatures as they look to get themselves sat and ready. The idling that they're going to have here at this point, DJ, is going to be a cause of concern for those in the front, I would say 6 rows.
Yeah, I think you're completely right about that. They've got to watch out for it. When you start on the green, when you start on the grid, you're going to be idling there for a while. And remember, the majority of these cars, they do have fans in them. They're not like a purpose-built Formula One machine or something like that, where the engines run without fans. There are air intakes, there are fans on these cars, but they are not designed to sit idle. Those fans are there to basically help things along. They are not designed to allow these cars to stay stationary for a long period of time. Indeed, if that happens, you can find that car overheating. And so I think they're going to be very, very happy when we get back to even just pacing conditions under this yellow.
Yeah, so everybody is now looking to get themselves into position. The last of the cars will be Jackson Van Pelt to get into position. And outside of that, everyone else now is going to get themselves lined up and ready for this start. So it looks like Jackson Van Pelt's going to have to make a whole revolution of the circuit to get back into line, and there's going to be a lot of what I would consider here penalty waiving to be done off of the start. So that's going to be one of the only things to keep in mind. One thing I have noticed here in terms of drivers who are getting ready, there's only one driver in this entire field who's got a dedicated spotter with them today here, DJ, and that's the championship leader, Jake Sylvia. It's brother Jimmy who's going to be on the cans, giving him all the help possible.
And that is a massive advantage here to your championship leader, Jake Sylvia. He's going to have that actual person to his outside, getting him very, very crucial information as Jake, they start to form themselves back up around here. So we're still parading around, catching the pace car. But for him, because when you have those virtual spotters that we see oftentimes, like Crew Chief or one of those other applications that is so often used here in iRacing, it's just going to tell you car outside. Car outside, car inside. If you've got a real person on the box, they're going to be able to give you minute details about what is happening. They're going to be able to tell you if you've got a car on the quarter panel, if you've got a car fully alongside, if you're just barely having a little bit of overlap. That is going to be massively huge for Jake.
So that is going to be what they navigate through. And still, of course, riding behind that pace truck at this moment, all still having that debate on who needs to be exactly where in terms of where everybody is lined up. It looks pretty good at the moment, but there might be one or two drivers who are not quite in the right position at this moment in time. And what this will also do is this will affect the strategy game, the amount of laps that they have to spend rolling about. They're expecting maybe 2 laps maximum to be rolling about here, DJ. This is going to extend into what they need to do. This might be a fuel game.
Yeah, it very well could. These drivers are calculating exactly 100 or 70 laps to be able to run. This could change things around a little bit. The one thing they're going to be happy about, however, is more laps run under caution means less wear and tear on those 4 sets of tires that they have to worry about. So that's going to really, really help them, I think. They're going to be pleased to see that. And tire wear, still going to be a huge story, but not the biggest one here with these couple of laps run under caution.
Just got the word, 1 to go is the call from race control, which will mean that next time they rush around, we are going to get 70 laps underway. An unprecedented situation where we don't know whether it was cicadas or it was a gopher, but something happened with the lighting, which meant they couldn't run it at night. They had to come back the next day and come and race this, essentially, in terms of what the virtual explanation will be for this one. Here's a look then with Corey Vaughan's car at this moment in time. Everybody looking to try and get themselves set up and ready. This is going to be one which is going to be about patience and who is going to have that element of patience to go out there. Look at that. Sim racing gloves and all there for Corey Vaughan as he sits ready and waiting.
Yeah, he's going to be ready. And remember here, these are manual transmission cars, so a lot of these drivers do have that H-pattern gearbox that they're going to be using. We've already seen a couple of missed shifts off of the start. Watch for that to be a storyline here on the opening stages of this run.
We saw that, of course, on the restart in Heat 1, how that absolutely balked the field in terms of the way they wanted to go forward about it. Keep your eyes on a swivel here. 70 laps are going to be very crucial. Pace truck dives in. Tyler Muller with control of the field will wait for the green flag to drop and get the launch that is wanted as everybody sits and waits. It's a long time, and guess what? The green never got thrown.
Yeah, a little bit of a schmozzle there from iRacing, I think. There was a little bit of miscommunication. They did not get the call to go here at this point, so it looks like they're going to circle around here under pacing speed one more time and hopefully get the green next time by.
Oh, and it's very fortunate that all those drivers were able to adhere to that. You'd expect with the pace truck diving in that someone would have launched for it, but at the moment, everyone continuing to run and be orderly. Tyler Muller will get himself a dress rehearsal then for the start that he wants. This has been pretty much everything and then some in terms of not what you want when you're about to lead a pack of 26 to fly about here at the Rock. This is going to be a very frantic race with all of what has built and built and built. The pressure cooker's going to have to release at some point. Green flag this time by. Let's get ourselves underway. 70 laps begins now. Bringing itself through with a very nice start. One car in trouble down at the back has spun. That's Matthew Moniak's number 3 that has found itself spun at 1 and 2 already, pulled down into the lane, and it looks like we do already have our caution. It's the 17 of Terry Wangsness who finds himself around.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a squiggle there. There were quite a few of 2-3 wide situations farther back down in the field, so I'm not entirely surprised that we saw somebody spun right off of that restart, going to get everything else back together, and it looks like Bradley Stefane has been found in fault for that incident, as already an end-of-the-line penalty given. There's the contact with the 3. That looked like Angel Ortega there in the number 10 machine that he got into, and a very unfortunate run there into the pit lane attenuator.
Yeah, that's how quickly it can go wrong. Dual pit lanes here, and then, of course, the hit for Wangsness. Not going to be happy with those Hoosier tires, getting absolutely burnt up in that spin that he went through. And that contact there from Bradley Stefane. Stefane was running hot after the first heat, and you would expect that he will be boiling in his virtual suit with everything that's gone on, the weights that he's had to get through. It was either going to be he's going to be super angry or he's going to have calmed down. It looks like it's the latter.
Yeah, I think that's what it is here at this point, and he's going to have a lot to do to calm down at this point because, as we said, Stefane, given that end-of-the-line penalty. We ride on board with Jake Sylvia here at this point, running in third. Good run for your points champion right now in the number 88. It's the 78 of Tyler Muller doing some a little bit of weaving there, trying to keep those Hoosier tires up to temperature.
Yeah, and that temperature is crucial. Sylvia already making great progress, jumping over that opening lap into that third position. It's going to be now about focus. It's going to be green next time by that they're going to put themselves in, and this is where you are going to have to be very, very alert with the racing that they've got. Count a couple laps then in terms of how they've gone, and now they're going to push again as they look to go forward. I'm not sure whether these caution laps are counting or not, but the green flag's back in the air, and we're going to get ourselves back to racing action.
Better start on the outside here for Deegan Smith to be able to push that number 15 along here as they go. And now down to the inside, that's Muller. Some big slices farther back in the field, but it's still going to be Muller that leads the way. Sylvia and Smith side by side.
Yeah, pushing up through then towards 3 and 4. Sylvia on that bottom line gets it good and is going to start moving up now into second position. It puts Smith now back into third position. Matt Urban finds himself down. John Gifford's made a good launch there off of that restart then and moves up into fourth position. It's now the front 6 or so, 5 or so that are clear. Chris Story and co now sit and wait. Sean Urich making good progress. Second caution, immediate.
Almost immediately coming out here again on lap number 5. Not sure who was the result of this here. I do see Ryan Smith dropping down the order a little bit. Not sure if that's him. It looks like this is a result of the number 34 machine here. That is Shell who has been involved in it.
Yeah, Bradley Stefane was caught up too, and it looked like he had contact with Jackson Van Pelt. So that is where it all goes wrong, coming through, and it looks like that's going to be a case of there's the checkup first and foremost. So that's going to put Shell a little bit further back, but the issue is going to be around Van Pelt. That's where the troubles all start to befall and lie in terms of the way that the racing goes. We're about a lap away from that to sort of show it. It's Van Pelt who will get the end of the line here, so he's at fault. I think he just painted himself into a corner.
Yeah, I think he did as well. Let's ride on board here with Pelt as he comes across the line right now. see him just trying to iron everything up in front of him, seeing what he is going to be able to do here at this point. Sparks flying out from these cars in front, as we've seen a lot of that taking course over today. Penfelt up into the wall, and bingo bango, that is where the hits happen.
Well, the key there, he hits the wall. He's got to come off of that wall at some point, and then he's got no control of it. So it's unfortunate, but hey, shouldn't have been in the wall. And that was going to be always the cause of concern with the way that was about to go through. Lap 7 here, they find themselves of 70 at Rockingham Speedway. And the focus here is with the front. It has been nice and Christmassy on the start there for what has been Tyler Muller. He has pretty much got himself a perfect launch 2 times out of 2. He's got the championship leader up on top and a whole host of drivers who are slowly making good progress there behind. It's been, I would say, a stop-start run to begin the night, but they're hoping that they get a little bit of an extra run here. A little bit of long running would go a long way for them. It's a wait for the green, which is there, and off they go. Sylvia gets a really nice launch here, and he is going to try and pivot on that outside to take the race lead away, really trying to hang down against Tyler Muller. Muller giving just enough.
Yeah, Muller giving just enough room, but Sylvia's got the momentum there on the outside as they come down Thunder Rally right now into 3 and 4. Sylvia taking a very, very wide line, just trying to maximize that run on the outside. He's going to have a nose ahead as they cross over the stripe.
Yeah, and that nose ahead's going to be crucial. It gives more pivot angle in through 1 and 2. Now, this is going to be interesting in terms of how these drivers have set their machinery up, because 1 and 2, of course, slightly less banking than 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And the more banking in 3 and 4 means you're going to be able to carry a little bit more momentum around there. And that certainly looks like what Jake Sylvia is able to do. Clear of Muller behind him. He's up in front.
Yeah, and look at it. It's everybody pretty much having a good run on the high side. The low line is not where you want to be as well. You get a look around at Uric, who's now dropped back to 6th position. Matt Urban has found a way through now, and he's side by side for 2nd, searching up on the high line once again. John Gifford having a fantastic run in the number 46. Again, looking around, hoping that he's going to get the launch. He's half a car clear as they head towards 1. I tell you what, Muller's going to try and throw everything, but he slides a little bit going down through the corner. Here comes the run off the exit. Thank you very much.
Oh, and a big wiggle there for the 78 of Tyler Muller. That car just doesn't look like it is comfortable here at this point. But I'll tell you who does look comfortable. That was John Gifford, but we've got another yellow.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Kenny Troughton in the back spins it about, and a dual run of that. Timmy Spatz further forward found himself turned around as well as the caution came out. He got out of it and he took a tap as well, going through by what looked like Ryan Smith, who was going by. So that was going to be a number of drivers getting caught out in trouble. It's going to be a dual-fold incident. So here they go as they go through. It's going to be everybody looking to try and dive through. There, you just saw it in the background there. That was the tap for the 54 going around, which was not ideal as the caution came out. He lifted out, didn't get the car behind, you would argue, enough speed to slow that back down.
Yeah, just not enough to be able to get it woed down there at that point, and that is going to be the cause here for our 3rd caution of the day. They go, though, and I've got to say here, I'd be a little bit concerned if I was the rest of this field. Jake Sylvia with an absolutely monster launch off of all of the restarts. As we jump back to take another look back at the replay, there's the contact on the outside wall that we saw a little bit before, as we focus in on the 54 here of Timmy Spatz.
Well, they were sliding in front there, and then Spatz just ends up, to pardon the pun, getting spat out there on the inside. Not much that he could do about it. Lots of drivers now have taken for the pits to get themselves some fresh tyres and a top-up, get themselves back out and away again. I wouldn't say that's a bad idea at this point in time. Of course, if this does get a little bit clogged up with cautions, it's going to be the sort of day where those drivers are definitely going to make that move to the front, and they are going to be worried about one thing and one thing only, and that will be the consistent heat cycles as the rate of cautions has come through so far in the early stages.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there at that point. But once again, Jake, it is the fact that these caution laps do not count, or they do count 4 laps here. So it is going to be a reduced count of times we're running under green. That is going to change things compared to last week.
Yeah, it very much is, and I don't think that was a call of what they were trying to do at this point in time, but I think they're just going to have to play with the cards that they've got. It was a mad scramble to get everything going, but everybody's looking to get in line. There is Terry Wangsness, and it looks like he's got himself the right way up this time.
Yeah, he does. He's got that camera fixed for us. Terry, thank you for that. We absolutely love to see that taking place here at this point. Terry's just trying to line himself in line here, doing a little bit of crucial thing that we haven't talked about, Jake, and that is warming up the brakes as well. Most short track racing here, you don't actually need those brakes to slow down the car. You're really using them a little bit more to rotate the car through the corner, and having nice warm brakes to be able to do that is absolutely crucial.
It really is, and I think just having that ability to get a little bit more rotation, just what we would call essentially trail braking to some extent, a lighter extent, is going to be key. So Sylvia has been really good on the launch. John Gifford to the outside then. We're going to be going back to green here, lap 15 here out of 70, and that's in the air, and we are underway once again. The run to 1 and 2 looks like Sylvia gets a good launch. Muller is really pushing on that low line, trying to get something going of it, and is just about going to get the pitch, but not the clearance.
Yeah, cars moving down to the inside to make this 3 wide, coming down through Thunder Alley, trying to hold things together here. That battle for 2 and 4 P4 right now between Muller and Gifford and Urban and Smith continuing to play out.
I tell you what, there's been some great runs through, and it is Matt Urban now up into 4th position. You cannot miss him out there with the neon colours. He is certainly making great moves, and he'll be looking to try and settle into a rhythm, get a couple more places, if that is at all possible. Through 3 and 4 once again, and the look there is just a little bit down on that apron. Muller doing a really good job on that low line now, starting to find a little bit of confidence.
Starting to feel it out here, and I wonder if that's a situation where that car is set up for a little bit longer runs, maybe a little bit of a run later on in the race. We'll have to see how that plays out, but Gifford not letting this go quietly. He's going to keep challenging around the outside.
He's definitely going to try and challenge. He's going to hope that there's something there in terms of working the outside line. It worked initially, and he's going to need help from Sylvia, who leads this race, trying to go through. Big power look to the inside. Matt Urban wants to race.
Yeah, certainly does. Looking down to the apron there at that point, trying to find a little bit of a line. The number 78 there of Tyler Muller, trying to use the apron to rotate the car a little bit more. Car around to the back.
There is one in the back. It has stayed green. No, it hasn't. They've just thrown it. Evan Leahy found himself turned about then, coming out there. And that was contact with Michael Weissman, who had not had a qualifying effort all day. I would say that was just a case of Leahy getting loose and effectively just finding someone on the outside, not at the right stage, not at the right time.
No, not at all. A very unfortunate incident there for the number 18 of Leahy in particular. I've got to imagine, even though that car looks relatively okay, there's still probably some hefty damage on it.
Yeah, he's very much got away without the black and orange mechanical flag going out there. And the key there was, I think, the side-on contact. But you can see the exposure on the front right fender. That's going to be the key in terms of his race. He's going to be down aerodynamically.
Yeah, and around a high-speed power circuit such as Rockingham, that is going to hurt him in a massive, massive way. That is not what he wants to have happen here.
I tell you what, he's going to go down into the pits at some point if he does decide to do so here, DJ, and they are going to have to get the panel beaters out.
Yeah, they will, and again, it's not going to be mandatory damage from what we understand, but anything that he is going to be able to do to get those rubber mallets out, the virtual hammers to try to bang that car away, will certainly help him. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another yellow if we see Leahy down in pit lane for that reason.
Yeah, that definitely could be the issue. So, Sylvia leads, Gifford second, Muller in third. There have been some good movers through this field over the run. Keegan Bush has made some good progress up into 9th place. So, keep an eye on Keegan. Had to go through, of course, in the heats and has really moved up and has done well. Has gained those 4 places. Also making those moves, Matt Urban. And I would say Chris Story as well is going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think they all are here at this point. We've got some good movers and shakers, some drivers that are really starting to feel things out. Get it all together. Let's see if they get it to run here as we come back to green.
Well, it's once again your championship leader, number 88, Jake Sylvia, has had a first and a second to start the season off as the green flag drops here. Lap 21 is going to try and make sure he can maintain running rush shot on the rest of the field. It's a good launch from Tyler Muller underneath, but he grabs the apron a little bit. Half a car clear. It's going to be nothing. Caution immediate.
Oh, an immediate caution there, an issue coming off of turn 2 at the moment. That's going to be, it looks like, problems for the number 18 of Evan Leahy.
Leahy was in there, so too Kenny Troughton found himself in the wrong direction. He could pretty much paint a picture. He was 3 wide in the middle of the pack, and he got caught out with Bradley Stefan, who was there, and of course Leahy too. And all these cautions, we're now at 5, I believe, at this moment. So very quickly, they are running into troubles. So this is how quick, look at that. That's how early it's gone there. They're not even halfway through 1 and 2. That's how quickly you can run into trouble as everyone gets up to speed.
Well, it's one of the things here of, I think, Jake, of just cautions breeding cautions here at this point. And because we've had so many of them, drivers are very, very eager to push themselves up ahead, push themselves, get those positions, get track position, one of the key talking points that we mentioned earlier on in the race. And so everybody's bunched up. They're going to be aggressive off of the restart. At this point, well, we see what happens when you try to be aggressive.
Well, this is going to be another thing that these drivers are going to be keeping in mind here, as in comes Kenny Troughton then to make the pit stop, and he looks about, I would say, a little bit frustrated with what's gone on with his racing so far. But this is the key. With all these cautions that come out, of course, naturally at some point, it's going to calm down here, DJ. The other thing that they've got to consider at this point, those drivers at the front, they're just basically counting laps at this point. This is the easiest laps led that Jake Sylvia's probably had all season.
Yeah, I really think it is, and Jake's not going to complain about it here at all. Let's see what he is able to do. If he's able to keep controlling up at the front of the field at this point, that's going to be his run, and this could be his race to lose.
Very much could be, and of course, with the way that this series is pivoting itself at this point, Jake Sylvia is definitely hoping that today of all days he can walk out and extend the margin that he has got in the championship. As it stands, he walks in today with 211 points. Angel Ortega 172. So immediately you can sense that 39-point margin is going to start increasing, with a lot of drivers in and around having a few troubles out there today. The main keys in terms of Sylvia's race is watch out for the runs then of Matt Urban and Deegan Smith.
Yeah, I think there too that you're certainly going to have to watch out for as they bring themselves up through the field. They are very, very good to be able to run here. But I think for the rest of the field, just trying to keep everything clean, try to get some good green flag laps under their belts.
Yeah, and those green flag laps, I think, are going to be so crucial in terms of setting the tone for the race. It has been a very choppy race to start, full of fits and starts, but who is going to be able to put together a little bit of a showcase as the pace truck will dive in here as lap 25 is about to get itself settled. Green flag in the air, and I tell you what, Tyler Muller was very much keeping an eye on that on the start. Bradley Stefan with a penalty has jumped the start, so he'll have to come in and serve that at some point, but Tyler Muller was almost there, almost troubles in the middle. The 50 is going to get turned, and is that going to be saved? No, they're going to start wrecking in the back.
Oh, and that is the big one there that we had talked about. 4, maybe 5 cars involved with that. They're still cascading down the back straightaway. Very, very tough running. It looks like Angel Ortega involved in that. Kenny Troughton again, as well as the number 19 there of Jackson Van Pelt, I think.
Ryan Smith was the driver getting loose. Easton Reitner didn't have too many places to go. So keep an eye on the 50 on this start, moving down through. So gets a little bit low with the 27. Tries to get out of it then, is overcorrecting, fishtailing at that point. And then pretty much everyone runs through and is more meat for the grinder.
Yeah, certainly is there at this start. And we have just gotten the notification here from Race Control that we are going to do what we did last time around when we got a lot of yellows. We are going to reset into a single file restart.
That, I think, is a wise decision here by race control. They don't want to have a race that goes 70 laps full of caution out there. They are very much going to be sitting in a position and realizing, hey, this is not what we need. We need a little bit of help out there. But there are a few drivers up and down the order who have done well. Someone who's really flown well has been John Gifford. DJ Clark is stood by.
I have indeed. John, you've been able to slice and dice your way there up at the front of the field. How's the car handling? How you feeling?
I'm not really sure how the car's handling yet. We haven't had anything long enough to find out, but feeling pretty good at practice times, though.
Well, feeling good, pretty good with practice times here. It looks like we're having a lot of scruffy running here with some of these drivers, kind of aided by the looseness of the cars. Is that a concern for you, or what do you think?
Not really. My car in practice was pretty stable for me. Spent a lot of time in testing for this track.
All right, well, clearly know what you're talking about. And I'm going to ask you a little bit of strategy here off of this restart with it coming back into single file. Does that change the way you're going to try to run this, or is it all going to be pretty much business as usual?
I'm just going to kind of ride behind Jake for a few laps here. Hopefully let things settle out before we start battling.
All right, well, we will let you go there. John, get yourself back into race mode. John, thank you so much, and good luck out there.
Yep, thank you.
Jake, that was driver the number 46, John Gifford. You kind of heard some of that frustration, I think, that we had heard, that we had sort of speculated about. Him just kind of saying, I don't really know how the car's handling. We haven't had enough green flag to be able to really get that to tell.
And here's the pace of my green flag running, if we had one, is effectively the way that he's understanding this race at the moment. He'd love some green flag running. He'd love to test his mettle, but they've effectively chalked off a third of this race without really having too much of a challenge so far up at the front. It's been a case of how can you gain a little bit off of a start here and a start there. The single file running, I think, is certainly going to help on these restarts and put everyone back into a position. So now it's going to be about who can do what at this moment in time. Looks like we're going for one more to get themselves around, to get themselves into position. And every single position, I think, is going to be rather critical here as we find ourselves then taking a big look from the aerial perspective at this moment in time around what is, quite simply put, been a very difficult race at a circuit which has proven to be underratedly difficult in this machinery.
Yes, it certainly has here at this point. A difficult run for all of these drivers. We do have 4 drivers that are counted out of the race here at this point. Stefan, Moniak, Davis, and Walling here. Those 4 not in the field.
Yeah, a little bit of a checkup there, which is not going to be ideal in the back, and driver's not happy there, saying, well, that's way too much of a checkup. You can't check up that much here, trying to get a launch off of these single file restarts. Drivers are always looking to try and get a little bit of an advantage to go through, and look at that, sat right on the bumper, 46. Waiting here is going to want Jake Sylvia to have a couple laps where it can be nice and clean. Pace truck dives off, lap 30 about to bring itself into the front of your screens. Green flag in the air. We are underway once again here from the Rock.
Looks like a cleaner restart here, as we would expect. A little bit of scruffiness farther back in the field, but everybody pretty much saying single file here as they work their way out of turn 2 right now. 2 wide farther back in the field, but they're going to stay clean and green coming down Thunder Alley.
Yeah, and they're going to have to deal with the traffic as well in the middle of the pack, so that's going to be more cause for concern as they go through. Leaders flying about at this moment in time, all trying to get themselves through. One driver spun down on the inside, went down to the apron. No need to throw a caution at this moment in time, and that could very easily not have been what Travis Wilhite was hoping for.
No, Wilhite is not going to be happy with that. He's going to find himself about a half a lap behind everybody else. Let's take a look at the replay at exactly what happened. Keep your eye on that teal machine as he works his way through traffic. That's the 50 up to his high side and just contact there with Ryan Smith.
Yeah, just jumping down. Not sure where Wilhite was supposed to go in that scenario there, so he'll be feeling very hard done by that, and a couple drivers jumping down into the pits. There's the 27 looking to make some moves. This is Keegan Bush, and it's on for the lead. John Gifford has now looked to get himself the pivot here against Sylvia. Top 2 into the wall. Caution comes out. Championship leaders caught up in it.
Oh my goodness gracious, drama here with high stakes in the championship, as you said, and that is going to give control of this race back over to Tyler Muller, your pole sitter here. But I can't believe this. These are normally two drivers that we see pretty clean and green.
Well, this is the thing. Fine margins we're talking about. It was waiting for the chance. Gifford jumping down low was always going to try and attack. Now, the key's going to be off the exit here. Room very nicely given, and they just end up in lockstep there. That, I think, is as fine margins can possibly get between those two.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there about that. A little bit of miscommunication as it looks like he just slid up the racetrack on him ever so slightly. That is going to be a big hit to not only the championship hopes here of some of these drivers, including Sylvia and Gifford, but Gifford all the way down through the order in 16th here at this point.
Yeah, so Gifford drops back. Here's a look at the 45, trying to jump on through all of that. So didn't quite get what was wanted there. And that was not quite what the doctor ordered there in terms of that. Now, a couple drivers have made that call to try and get down in then for a bit of pitting. Troughton, Ortega is another one of them. If this was going to be any race to try and give a free kick to in terms of this one, I would keep my eyes firmly sat with Matt Urban. I think Matt's got a really good opportunity here today to start gaining a little bit of time, and I think he'll be perfectly in the right position. Sylvia, very lucky in terms of when that caution came out, because he was still in second position as and when it got thrown.
Yeah, very much so. But there is some damage there, some pretty hefty damage on that number 88. And indeed, he is going to bring that car down into pit lane here at this point. So that's going to drop him out of the order. And I've got to imagine there's going to be some pretty hefty damage repair going on down in the pits.
Well, hefty damage repair, but let's not forget the fact here, DJ, that this is only round 3 of the championship. It's a long season, and bad results will happen, and especially here, around longer circuits for this style of car, you would say that this was more likely for all of the drivers looking for a championship for this to be a lottery race.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. That's kind of what we're talking about here a little bit earlier on for these drivers, because we know that this was going to be a little bit crazy. But we do hit the halfway point here at this point, Jake.
Yeah, we absolutely do. So it will be Muller in control of the field, Matt Urban in second, and Deegan Smith up now into third. Chris Story finds himself then in fourth, with Sean Urich in fifth out there, and that is the key focus they go through. Couple of drivers then find themselves out of this race. They include Matthew Moniak, Bradley Stefan, 10 laps down, Easton Reidner out of the race. Disqualification for Jared Shell, not behaving with the lap traffic rules out there today. And then, of course, the issues out there for those still down on the lane. It might be a case here today, DJ, not of can you find a good finish, but more rather, can you find a finish?
Yeah, I think it could be. This could be a situation where if you're able to just get to the end of the race, that could be more than enough to put you into position to be able to grab some valuable points on the day.
Well, it's going to be now about focus. Half a race has gone, and it has felt like they haven't really got started, and that's going to be a real psyche and a mindset. This is going to be sapping for these drivers here today at Rockingham Speedway. They know how important it is that they get themselves set up. This has been a very fruitful night for some, frustrating for others. Tyler Muller, who has been in and about the front all day long, the pole sitter who is here today, now has regained control with the top two of Gifford and Sylvia running themselves into troubles. Pace truck down in lap 37 is going to bring itself into play. We're green and we're underway again. Immediate hard defense over to the inside. Smith ends up chasing pavements.
And I think Chris Story may have a little bit of a run on the outside there. You see that number 67 machine trying to work a little bit of the space. He's got a great run. Going to be able to hold off an attack from Sean Urich, and now going to be challenging on P3 of Deegan Smith.
Well, the issue he's on the outside, and he's the only one there. And look at the run they're going to get off of the banking there of 4, and now start to charge down. The inside covered again, going to start searching up high, looking to get an almighty run through this section, not quite happening, and they're waiting behind as well. You got Busch and Weissman, who are also trying to get into this scenario and move themselves up an extra place or two.
Yeah, everybody just trying to find that little bit of grip, that little bit of tact that they're going to be able to push themselves up forward. It's almost like a dirt track race here at this point, Jake, with everybody just trying to find where that optimum line is.
God, you can hear it as well. They are also bottoming out here around this place with such high banking around here. They are going to have to worry about the rear really getting loose here as they have to deal with the different areas of this circuit. We talk about it being a long circuit. There's a little bit of contact there. Elbows out for Urich as he looks to try and navigate away past then.
Yeah, and lucky he was able to dive down to the inside. Almost a little bit more contact there with Urich and Story as they almost banged doors coming through turn 2 here at this point. They're going to sort themselves out. The 45 of Weissman trying to be able to find a little bit of a run, but Keegan Busch looking strong again there. Noah's Ark into 3.
They are 2 by 2 as they all started searching. The story might change, but at the moment it's the same one, stuck on the outside and not getting much sorted here. And all this constant battling as there's more contact as they go through. This is brilliant here. They are absolutely trading paint at this moment. The more they continue to race like this, though, top 2 are checking out.
Yeah, they are. Muller and Urban have absolutely pulled away at the front of this field. They've got no concerns in the world. They're going to be in good space, and this battle is exactly what they want to see.
Yeah, it has cleared up for Deegan Smith, but Story now finds himself in 4th, and look at the sparks coming off there at the plate as it bottoms out. It gives Sean Urich the perfect angle to attack in the 90, down on the low side. Jolly good, it says, on the left rear fender. That's a jolly good pass to move up into 4th.
A jolly good pass, but one that wasn't done without a little bit of scraping there as they came through the corner. Chris Story making contact with the right rear quarter panel there of Sean Urich. Those two just trying to be able to sort themselves out. Now Urich has got the run, and it's going to be open game here for Michael Weissman.
Weissman, of course, who couldn't qualify the car. In qualifying, he was having troubles. Oh, just enough room there for 27. Keegan Busch ends up trying to stick his nose where maybe it didn't belong, and that will bring Kendall Becker into play. And we'll look around the outside, and as refreshing as a bit of Kendall mint cake, he will look to try and take that place.
Yeah, he will try to put himself in a good position here as they run, seeing if there's anything to play for right now. We ride on board with Busch as he starts to close down here on Chris Story.
Well, he's looking to try and find this position, and he knows how important it is right now as they get their first real sense of green flag running. The real sense of laying the rubber in won't be too, I would say, plussed at this moment in time there with Story being a little bit jittery out there. That will be something that will be causing a little bit of worries out there for Keegan Busch, but he'll nicely slip through on the inside and have no worries about that at all. But look at how much it's cost him, 8/10.
Yeah, it's a massive, massive gap there. And look at the gap between Deegan Smith and Matt Urban. We talked about that a little bit earlier. 1.2 seconds between those top 2 leaders and the rest of the field. This battling has really, really hurt everybody else.
It absolutely has, and that's where these drivers are starting to check out and put themselves into position. There is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Deegan Smith looking backwards at this point with Sean Urich and Michael Weissman looking to really try and kickstart their early season form with the results here. Weissman looking down low, and as a Weissman once said, if I can take the position on the inside, I'll be in 4th.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to go for it here. Urich just looking like he's falling back through the wrong order here as they run. They're going to be side by side crossing the stripe right now. The 45 has a little bit of a nose ahead. I wonder if that hind lane's starting to get a little bit slippery with some marble buildup.
That could also be very important. Those Hoosier tyres, of course, will be flicking up those small marbles onto the top of the circuit, and that could be troublesome plenty out there. Searches, though, for places up and down your order. This is, of course, Sean Gifford. That's Travis Wilhite just in front, and, of course, Angel Ortega, who needs every point possible and is just about sneaking into the top 10 on what has been a very quiet run today.
Yeah, it's been a quiet run, but it's been a good run here for him. And that's kind of what we saw from him last time around. Almost contact farther back in the field, though.
Yeah, it was more than just almost contact. There was an absolute clobbering of the wall for Timmy Spats, and Kyle Adams, I think it was, who ended up getting that one pretty much all shapes of sideways. That was definitely not what the doctor was ordering in terms of there, and that could have been a whole lot worse as they go through. Weissman once more starting to push, getting down the inside, and now up into third, and Deegan Smith gets loose off the exit of 4. This will bring Sean Urich to the inside now, and he will now try and search and take that place away. It's a game of swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, it really is. We saw Urich falling back down through the field, running that high line. Now that he's going to be able to work the low line, let's see if that number 90 is going to be able to have anything to play here at this point. They continue to try to work. Urich using every bit of the track there, indeed using a little bit of the apron to try to rotate that car a little bit. But we're down with 19 laps to go, and I think Urich needs to get a move on here if he wants to have a chance at a podium spot.
Well, it's a hurry-up message that he'll be getting. He'll be hoping for as many points as possible. If you ain't first, you're last in racing like this, and it's going to be a case of, well, these drivers are fighting for third best at the moment. Keep an eye out, though, on the front, because Matt Urban is just trying to bring that gap down. Is struggling a little bit. The traffic not helping his cause at the moment. It, of course, is Jake Sylvia, who they managed to pass, but Matt Urban had that gap down as low as 0.9, but a little bit of slipstream has given Tyler Muller a bit of a breakaway.
Yeah, it has 1.1 seconds the gap here at this point, as you can see him coming to the line with 17 to go this time around. And Muller here, I can guarantee you, praying that we stay green. The last thing he wants right now is another caution flag.
Absolutely, and that's what he wants. He just wants the ability to drive his own race and get away. He's at the behest of everyone else in that regard and doesn't need to defend it. There's a little bit of searching once more as they're starting to deal with that traffic once again. The 88 staying out of the way. Weissman through, Deegan Smith as well. Bush and Urich there sitting backwards there, and Urich now back into 6th position is going to be looking around going, what happened? I was looking at third a couple laps ago.
You know, I wonder there, I've been watching Sean's car for the last couple of laps. I think he used up his tires just a little bit too much. We talked about tire degradation being a big storyline in this race, and I think he's just struggling a little bit keeping that car where he wants to go.
Yeah, and that's the key in terms of these races. When you've got yourself a short run after a short run after a short run, you very much are prioritizing a different set of skills here, DJ, than you would a long run. Because they've hit the first long run, a few drivers haven't been able to adapt that way.
No, they certainly haven't, and I think we're seeing them start to fall back down through the order as a result of that, and the chief one among that is going to be Urich. But here's one driver that looks like they were able to preserve their stuff. That's John Gifford, who's now back up into P8.
Gifford has been absolutely fantastic. He's through now on Story, and he's looking at that long run pace, and he's half a second quicker than most of the drivers in front. He's running very similar pace to the likes of Deegan Smith, and so he is looking to be like the hot knife through butter. He is going to be flying through this field.
Yeah, he's going to be really pushing here at this point, just trying to see if he's got anything to go with. Again, that car going to be really well apportioned here at this point. Is Gifford now pushing up behind Becker, and he's going to try to get around that orange number 20.
Trying to get past the turkey here. Thanksgiving, of course, a couple days ago. And now this is going to be where you find that opportunity. Looking down low side, the room given, of course, there by Kendall Becker. No arguments about it. Through goes 46. Absolutely monstrous. Up now into 7th, but it's a little ways away to catch Sean Urich, and there's 2 bits of lap traffic as well before that becomes a reality.
Yeah, that's Evan Leahy and Jackson Van Pelt doing their best job to get their way through. But let's give some credit here to Michael Weissman. He's been able to close down that gap on Matt Urban. We said that looked like it was a little bit too far out of touch. He's got it down to about 0.5 of a second.
He's the quickest driver out on track here is Michael Weissman, and second position is not a million miles away. It's only 0.4 of a second down the road, so he is running absolutely brilliantly here right now, and in these final 11, soon to be 10 laps left here at the Rock, he is hoping that Rock is diamond.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's getting closer. He's going to have to use a little bit of this lap traffic potentially as a pick to get his way on by. That's Corey Vaughn, and they'll probably have to deal with Kenny Troughton before this race is over as well, but he's running good lines here at this point, just keeping up the pressure.
And now it's all about the reminders over the radio. Lap cars go high because there's some important battling here going on. Searching for angle then off of the exit. Where do you go? Low side, it's not there. High side, it's not there. Still going to have to stay there as Michael Weissman, and he'll know that he'll have to try and find an angle. And look at him taking a higher line through one. He's looking to attack off for two, but again, they're hitting the traffic, and the traffic's going to have to stay high here. That's Corey Vaughan they're trying to get past.
Yeah, Vaughn doing a good job of just staying up high, not getting in the way there, but that did present a little bit of a checkup, I think, for the 48 of Urban, and there you see Weissman knows that he's going to try to get down to the inside, but shutting the door is going to be Matt Urban.
Well, I tell you what, Matt Urban is doing everything he can. He knows how important the points are going to be. He might even walk out with a chance to get really close to the points lead, if not take the points lead out of here with a second place. Weissman absolutely flying at this moment in time. He's going to want to try and get himself into the picture. Has he got enough here with 7 left to find that pass? He will search, and they are absolutely chock-a-block in front of them here, sliding about Kenny Troughton and Kyle Adams, who will both go high, and now will allow these two to rush on the inside. Troughton grabs a little bit of the wall, but Weissman here is stuck, and he needs a pick.
Yeah, he needs a pick to be able to play. Terry Wagsness, the next driver that they're going to be able to come up against here. He's trying to run the car high to low. He's trying to run down the hill a little bit. He is trying everything, throwing everything and the kitchen sink at it here. Now he's going to take a look high coming in at 3.
Oh, it's going to be tough here as he looks for that angle once more. Doesn't have it, but can he get that rotation through the middle of the corner? Carry the speed where he's not bottoming out a little bit more. He gets himself to a long side. He will move himself then to ahead. He had it at the line by 15 thousandths, running around the top. Number 48, Matt Urban's trying everything to keep him at bay.
He's doing everything he can and more. A little bit of contact there coming into turn 2. That's Urban down to the apron, and that puts Weissman up into P2.
It absolutely does, and then back up. There's not much that Matt Urban can do. Michael Weissman up into second with a fantastic drive. It has allowed the lead to extend to 3 seconds, but that's not what they're worried about right now. Everywhere you look, there's places being made. Deegan Smith will have to look at Keegan Bush as well. Those two starting to encroach on as well. Ortega in a huge scrap for 7th.
Yeah, Ortega trying to fight his way back up through the order following that contact we saw him have a little bit earlier, but Becker and Urich now all over the pack of that number 10.
It's been all about tyre management right now, and it's a case where Angel Ortega is driving on Angel's wings at this moment. Still, though, Becker fighting with everything he's got in the orange and black as he now tries to find that pass. He can't get there. Angel Ortega will have 7th just for the moment.
He'll have it for the moment, but I don't know how long that's going to hold out, and he's only got about 2 laps to try to hold on to it here at this point, because that's right, we're already 2 laps to go.
It's just like that. It has been as quick as that on the green flag running that they've had going forward. There is number 78, who is out there at the moment, heading to the white flag, and that will mean one thing and one thing only. This one is going official here as we start the final lap here at Rockingham. He has been in and around the front, has kept it out of trouble where everybody else has been getting a little bit hot under the collar. As everybody has been looking around at the rock, he has been ice when everyone else has been magma. Tyler Muller will find his way to victory lane and takes it at the rock.
A great run here for Muller, exactly as you said. Just putting good positions here, good laps together, making it play, and a great run here for Michael Weissman and Matt Urban to round out your podium. Also a great recovery drive here for John Gifford in that number 46.
Gifford's run to 6th position, absolutely fantastic. And Angel Ortega in 7th will take some vital points on a day where he really did struggle to get what he wanted. But what about Jake Sylvia down in 17th? He is going to be one driver who's looking to try and get something out of it. The burnout start for Tyler Muller as he puts himself in the absolute prime position. A victory befitting of the way that he's gone about. Not much more you could say than that. We're going to step aside for just one moment. When we come back, the post-race is here after this from your Misfits production series, and this from Rockingham.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It was a day which was up and down and all around. A stop-start venture that led to that last run. Clear of the field was key, and that then for Tyler Muller is going to be a smile worth its weight in gold. A victory of 42 minutes and 11 seconds. He wins by 3 over Michael Weissman, with Matt Urban picking up the final spot here today out of your top 3. You then had Deegan Smith and Keegan Bush 4th and 5th with good runs. John Gifford recovering to 6th, and Angel Ortega making the best out of a bad situation in 7th. Kendall Becker would end up 8th, with Sean Urich 9th. And Travis Wilhite, despite being spun around, heading just out of the green flag run, was still able to manage a top 10.
In 11th place, it was Timmy Spatz, followed by Chris Story, Kyle Adams, and Kenny Troughton getting caught out in some bad racing there. Story, Adams, Troughton all lapped down, as was Jackson Van Pelt, Evan Leahy, Jake Sylvia, your championship leader coming into this race, found some rough running out there today. 2 laps down was Terry Wagness, followed by Corey Vaughn. Ryan Smith was a DNF on the day.
And here are the retirement central drivers, you could say. Reidner, of course, it was a tough day for Bradley Stefan, Matthew Moniak. Jared Shell would end up being disqualified, and no starts for Brandon Davis or Ryan Walling. They would find themselves out of running before anything would even start. But we do have the opportunity to talk to some of our drivers. DJ Clark is stood by with the driver who ended up with a very, very strong run out there here today. 3rd position, though, overall. Matt Urban making moves.
Well, as we bring Matt up here into the commentary booth, Matt, a good run for you out there. A great battle with Michael Weissman. Just looked like he kind of was able to edge you, but how was it from behind the wheel?
It wasn't too bad. It was started getting tight towards the end of the race. I didn't save tires long enough early on.
Well, that leads into my next question of just how tricky were the tires out here. That was one of our big concerns coming into the race, and I'm curious how management was.
I definitely think that it's super, super line sensitive. So later in the run, when tires are starting to burn off, if you don't hit the bottom just right, you're on for a ride after that, it seems like, and it just starts shoving the nose.
Well, as we turn our sights to next time out, heading to Oxford Plains, a wildly different circuit. How do you and the number 48 team like your chances there?
I do really good there, surprisingly or not. I like that track a lot more than I like this place, that's for sure. I don't like the bumpy, rough tracks. I like the smoother, flat or banked, whether it's like last week at Hickory is rough or here is pretty rough.
All right, well, it sounds like it'll be a good run for you there, my friend. Matt, congratulations, and we'll see you in a week's time.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, that was Matt Urban, your 2nd place finisher here tonight, Jake.
Well, that was a 3rd place finisher who found himself there. And of course, we're jumping 1 week from now over to Southern as it goes on through. But we did have Michael Weissman, who was able to jump into 2nd position. We'll get a chance to chat to right now. Michael, that for you was a very, very good green flag run. You looked like you had the fastest car out there. You just didn't have enough momentum off the start to clear everyone. Michael, do we have a copy of you, buddy? answer to that then is going to be no. So I think what we'll do is we will jump through with Tyler Muller first and foremost, see if we can get Michael Weissman back a little bit later on. Tyler, big result for you here today. That's a victory that you're definitely going to take a smile away from.
That was some of the most fun I've had racing right there.
So the fun for you, off of that start, or the start of the race, you had the pole, you got yourself perfect in qualifying, very choppy, very stop-start to get things going. Losing those couple places earlier on, did you get your Christmas wish maybe a month or so early, seeing the top two finding themselves in the wall up top?
Yeah, I was just sitting in third. I was going to be fine finishing there. Those are some fast cars that passed me. And then I saw the move happen, and I wasn't expecting it, but next thing I know, they're both in the wall, and I just kept going.
That's all you got to do sometimes, is that you've got to keep the momentum going, and that is going to give you everything that you want. Now, 1 week from today, it's Southern National. It's 100 laps that brings yourself into play. Is this the shot of adrenaline to your aspirations this season? Picking up a big win here at Rockingham, looking now to improve over the December months.
Yeah, we're going to give it our all these next few weeks. I'm not looking forward to next week. I'm not very good at Southern National, but we're going to give it our all, see what happens.
Hey, any chances there, any opportunity that you've got? Tyler Muller there joining us, picking up the victory here. An all-important victory, you can say as well. There is not much more that is sweeter than that. Hopefully, in terms of what we've got going on, we might just still be able to get a chance to chat with Matthew Weissman. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that, DJ, but it looks like we are not going to have that opportunity to get that over in the books. So not much more that can be said or done about that. This, though, I think has been a real eye-opener for the season.
Yeah, I think it has too. I mean, an absolutely fantastic running there for them to be able to get things together. A very, very close run. And I've got to agree with you with what you said there when you were talking with Tyler. The incident that we saw that took out our two leaders in this race, putting Jake Sylvia back down into 17th place overall, that completely opened up this championship run.
Yeah, and with it being so early, still a long way to go, there are still opportunities aplenty that find themselves in the offing. I'm sure a number of these drivers will be looking around at each other thinking, what do I have to do to get the biggest result possible? I think it's going to be a very simple case where everybody is going to have to be at their level best, because there are still some incredibly quick drivers who find themselves into play. Want to give a massive thanks to everyone who gets it done. This, of course, being a Podium Esports production. Our CEO, of course, is Ryan Bauer. The cameras are provided by Dougie Beard. From, of course, the crew that has got it done here today, from DJ Lyon, DJ Clark, and, of course, myself, Jake Sperry. Next time out, we are at Southern National, 4 p.m. Eastern on December 2nd. You will want to jump in and get that done here with us. We'll be on, of course, the Misfit Productions YouTube channel to bring you all of the action to get things sorted. So with everything all in comparison and everything sat lovely and nicely neat, it's been, of course, a pleasure to bring you all this incredible action, which has been as well a Misfit production. What a run it has been for your Misfit Touring Series, and it rolls on. Southern National awaits.